Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 59. Into each life, some rain must fall. Boy, it's coming fast and furious, folks. This is a first for the Dark Knight Conspiracies, 2 shows in one day. And as Spock used to say, there is a first time for everything. Pure logic. So what do we start with today? Well, let's pull it up and let's go through it, shall we? I've said this before, folks. There is a media blackout in this country, and if you don't believe me, go research newspapers and websites from other countries to get the truth of what's really going on in this country and see what they're reporting on. This is from the Daily Mail, UK. President Biden, 78, hits the beach this weekend as the Pentagon admits it killed 7 kids in a drone strike. The French recall their ambassador from that stupid press conference with Britain and Australia. FDA came out, blows up his booster shot plan, and 12,000 Haitian migrants set up camp under a bridge in Texas. Boy, and this line comes from if you're a Sanford and Son fan, there's a line in one of the episodes, into each life some rain must fall, better that it fall on Julio. Well, we're starting to see what that really means. So shortly thereafter, all of a sudden, the Biden administration starts deporting Haitians from under the Texas bridge. Fox foils FAA drone ban. Can I ask a simple question? Who's in charge of the border? Wasn't it Camel Toe Harris? Where's she been? Has anybody seen her the last 2 weeks? Just asking. I don't know. I don't see milk cartons anymore. Has anybody seen her? I don't know. Haven't seen her since she was out there in California stumping for Newsom. Just something to bring up. What do we got next on the list? Oh, this is all over the press. This Nicki Minaj fight. Why is this important? Well, now we got the establishment going after a rapper. When's the last time we seen that? Oh, Kanye maybe? Just throwing it out there. Well, she decides to expose all these posts on her message board from reporters. Fake news, threatening her family members. Make no mistake, this isn't no fan of Trump here. She's just calling it as she sees it. I give her credit for that, but, it is what it is. Look, I'm no fan of her. I can't tell you a singles. I don't listen to this shit. Sorry for my language, but rap was the worst thing that happened to our music. I grew up in the real age of music. The 70s and the 80s. For all you people out there that can relate to this, if you can't sit there and say, our parents used to say the 50s and the 60s were the best for music. When it came to the 80s, I was going to a concert every weekend. The 80s was hands down the best time for music. And some would make the argument for the 90s, but I drifted off when they got into that grunge and all that other stuff. But by far, the end of the 70s, begin and the 80s, boy, that was a time for music. But I digress. So as I said on my previous show early, here we go. Capitol on high alert ahead of the rally today. And we're seeing some footage here. Well, we're starting to get some footage in of what happened. Of course, Daily Mail. Police starting to separate the protesters to prevent violence. Good for them. Well, why are they doing this? Last I saw, there was barely 100 people that turned out for this. Why? Because everybody listened to this was a setup. So they couldn't change the narrative. So what did they do? And you can go through all this. They got live footage of this clown dressed in black again, being escorted off, getting into it with the protesters. Look at these counter protesters, again, dressed in black. Look who's right behind them. Yep. Oh, this one can't be up to any good. This is somebody who, look. Oh, boy, these are patriotic people out here. This is funny stuff. It's all, oh, look at this clown. Unbelievable. So, nothing happened. They can't use it because why? My prediction in the previous video, because Arizona changed their results the next Friday. They can't make this last a week. So they had to fold the operation. Beautiful, very beautiful. So let's go to Australia. Boy, these are people that ain't taking it. 270 arrests in an anti-lockdown protest. And these people don't have what we have. All the more reason why the Second Amendment is so important in this country. I feel sorry for I really do feel sorry for these people, how stupid they were to give up that right. But you reap what you sow, according to the Bible. Speaking of the Bible, that's a good segue, isn't it? So let's get into my end times prophecy, which I've been alluding to, and we've been given signs of this thing, and one of the major signs God gave us was Israel becoming a state in 1948. That was a marker. A very important marker. And talked about the last generation will be witness to this. So what does that mean? Well, if we look at it on terms, well, the people born nowadays would be the last generation. No. That's, my belief is that's not what the last generation. The last generation would be the people born around 1948. So here is the prophecy of Israel's return in 1948. And by the way, I'll leave all the links in this. And let me just take a minute to thank all the people that have subscribed to me, that have left comments. I don't want to let it go that it's very appreciative. I don't censor anybody. I welcome all comments. I welcome conversation. I'll admit I'm not very good at getting in there and responding to a lot of them, but eventually I will. So this talks about Israel's return in 1948. So that's our marker, folks. Now, the last generation, what does that mean? Well, let's just take out two names here. Who was born around this time? Let's see. Donald Trump was born in 1946. Hillary Clinton was born in 1947. Could that be the last generation that God is talking about here? And for those of you that may not have heard of Jonathan Cahn, and he's got some great books out there about the paradigm. The paradigm is a must-read because it ties into the Cyrus Clinton-Trump thing and the correlation between the two things that happened back then and was what has happened now. It's unmistakable. He also has The Harbinger. Very good books. A lot of non-coincidental stuff. I'll just leave it at that. It's up to you if you want to choose to dig into that stuff. So, I'm going to get into the Whore of Babylon prophecy. Now, it's prevalent in Revelation, and it talks about this event happening around the time that Israel became a state. And there's many interpretations, but I want to focus on this third interpretation because I think it's spot on. Jesus mentioned is the generation experiencing the signs of the end of the age. In other words, once the signs Jesus mentions in Matthew 24 begin to take place, they will unfold quickly within the lifetime of the same generation, meaning within a short number of years. What did I talk about in 2 episodes ago? The tribulation, the 20 plus 7 year war. We've already had the anniversary of the 20-year war. We are now on the 7-year timeline. My personal beliefs only. You can call me a nutcase or whatever, but my gut is telling me to put this out there for you to dig deeper into it. So who is the Whore of Babylon? Well, what is Babylon? You can make an argument that Babylon is the new Babylon. There was already an old Babylon during Nebuchadnezzar's time, but the new Babylon, which is referenced many times in the Bible, some could make the argument it's New York City. Some could make the argument it's America. You know, there's a lot of people out there that say, well, you know, America's never mentioned in the Bible. Yes, it is. It's referred to as New Babylon. It's just a question of, are we talking about New York or are we talking about America? And you can have the argument both ways. I'm open to it. So who is the Whore of Babylon? Well, her final appearance is in Revelation 17. And it talks about a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and earth's abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Revelation 17:3-6. Folks, who does this sound like? I'll give you a couple minutes. We'll play Jeopardy. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 da ding, da ding, da ding, 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 ding. Okay, final answer. I'll just show you a picture. See the purple? See the jewels? Granted, she doesn't have the gold chalice because on election night she was so full of drunkenness, as reported, that it took her 3 days to come out and publicly concede the election. Is this all starting to make sense now? What church does she belong to? Anybody research that? You know, there's a certain church in California that she visits. She used to visit at least once a month. Don't know if it still happens. Oh, they're probably going to come after me after this one. I might get censored. I don't care anymore. The Lord's telling me to put this out there. I had the urge to put this out there. I don't know what drove me to do this other than intervention. There's a bigger picture going on here, folks. You know, all we're caring about is what goes on in our country, in our personal lives. This is worldwide. This isn't just tied to this country. And the sooner people grasp, you know, you can sit there and bitch and complain all you want. When you look at what's going on in Australia, and I don't know, this might be, it's coming here. Whether or not it happens, rest assured it's coming here. What's going on in Australia. The UK is not far behind. Why do you think this whole, oh, we're going to have a submarine pact? Really? You know how long it takes to build a submarine? You really think that's going to have any kind of impact, immediate impact right now? No. Optics are everything. And you need to dig deeper into everything that goes on. So I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I normally don't do this, but I felt I had to get out. I was called to get this out there. You know, I don't have to do this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I felt I had to make a difference. I'm not in a position to get involved locally, and that's not a cop-out. I guess I could, but for me, when I started this channel, this was the best way for me to get the word out there. And I felt it's more important to get the word out. So, you know, again, everybody has their own situation. You know, movies, I've always said this, movies and TV, there's a lot of truth in what you're watching on a day in and day in basis. And I've said this before, and I can go back to the Twilight Zone. So much truth was given to us about what's going on now. And we just saw it as entertainment. You got to remember, Satan was giving one handcuff. And the handcuff is he has to tell you what he's doing before he can do it. That is the one handcuff God gave him. And if you go back in time, and it's funny, you didn't think about it then, but I can go back to Happy Days episodes in the 70s where, you know, Marion got tired of being a housewife and wanted to be an independent woman and wanted to work. And what was that all about in the 70s? Well, I tell you what it was all about. They woke up and realized, you know, they could get more tax money if two people in the household were working. This was all about the destruction of the nuclear family. And there's so many movies I could go back to with truth. So I'm just going to end with just one, and it's really not that much. It's just I'm a Star Trek fan. And The Undiscovered Country. The plot and some lines in it really resonate with me. And the plot was the Klingon Empire couldn't survive anymore, and they needed to join the Federation. Kind of sounds like the EU at this point. And many people were afraid of this, so they conspired to assassinate the Klingon Chancellor, and they used the Enterprise as the tool. And again, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this, sorry, but the synopsis was the Enterprise fired on the Klingon vessel and 2 assassins boarded and killed the Chancellor. And the Enterprise was implicated. And as Captain Kirk and McCoy beamed over to help the survivors, they got arrested and they got tried and sentenced to a prison planet. There's a famous line that Spock said, and I still live to this day. And this is profound wisdom. When you eliminate all that is possible, whatever remains, however impossible, improbable, must be the truth. And I want you to just think about that for a little bit. And with that, stay safe, stay strong, stay vigilant, be prepared. And a shout out to a subscriber who gave me a recommendation for an out intro. God bless and take care, everybody. And letterpress take us home.